My youngest son fell off a 71-foot cliff. It was Sabbath afternoon. I had been invited to speak to a singles group up in the mountains of Washington. And Sabbath afternoon, everyone went for a hike. The family joined the singles. After a little while, my wife and two older sons decided to go downstream. The other group, with my youngest son, decided to go upstream. And as so often happens in those cases, he changed his mind and went back to find them. And as he came to the edge of the trail, he also came to the edge of the cliff, and he hollers after my wife, "Hey, Mom, I'm coming down. Be careful," she says. And he says, "Okay," and he turned to go away from the edge of the cliff, and he slipped over the edge because of all the soft pine needles. And my wife grabs her breath, and then she sees him grab a hold of a branch, and he goes, "Oh." And then he slid off the edge of the branch and free fell. Rough, jagged basalt, rocky cliff, bang, 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 until he disappeared behind a log and some brush. She didn't know where he landed, but she screams. She begins to run towards where he is. In her mind, she says, "Prepare yourself to pick up a dead child." She comes around the corner, and there in the pool of the edge of the falls is my son on his hands and knees, his eyes wide, saying, "Save me, Jesus, save me, Jesus." No choir song has ever been more beautiful to a mother's ears. They got him over to the edge, and my son ran to the car where I had taken a nap and woke me up and said, "Phillips fell off a cliff." And so I ran down there, and by God's providence, there was a group training at the ski resort just up the road, a rescue team, and they came down, rescued him, got him picked up, put him on a backboard, carrying him up this cliff, and got him in the ambulance, took him to the hospital. 21 stitches, not one broken bone. Went to school that week under the influence of Advil, but he was okay. Every time my wife would see that in her mind again, every time she'd close her eyes, she'd see him falling. And she began to get sick, and she began to get sicker. And I said, "Honey, next time you close your eyes, next time you see him falling, you just say, 'It's okay. God caught him. He's safe.'" She thought, "That's crazy. Of course he's safe. He's right here. I know he's safe." But sometimes we have to tell our minds the truth. We have to voice the truth. It's okay. God caught him. It wasn't long before her emotional state changed because she started doing it. She would say, "It's okay. God caught him. He's safe." And immediately she felt the emotions change. Right after that, I got to practice what I preached. Right after that, I lost my job, was unemployed for 3 months. This is the time when you begin to panic because we were just putting up a home that it looked like now we were going to lose. We'd invested thousands of dollars. But I kept saying, "It's okay. The same God who caught my son is going to catch me. The same God who took care of my boy has got our family in the palm of his hands." 3 months later, I had another job. I got to stay in the house, didn't lose anything. I share that story for a reason, because that's the gospel. God's got you. He left heaven. He came all the way down to planet Earth. He wrapped his injured flesh around us, and he's catching us for eternity. And that's the message that he asked us to carry to a lost and dying world. That's why we're trying to produce I Met God, a gospel message of hope. It's okay. God's got you. I Met God is going to be different than any other Bible study because it's going to be a Bible study for every language of the world who wants it, in their own language, with their own indigenous speakers, in their own costumes, talking to their own. They're asking us for it. We've dedicated our lives to carrying that same good news to the world. And if you appreciate the message, God's got you, and you want to share that message with the world that's asking for it, I Met God is going to be one of the most profound ways for that to get done. Thank you. Thank you for your encouragement. Thanks for your support.